Okay, let's go.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of trading to figure out the real reason why so many people struggle. Because here's the secret. This isn't about fighting the market, it's really about the battle inside your own head. Let's just kick things off with a pretty stark number. 90%. According to our source material, that's roughly how many traders end up losing money. Just let that sink in for a second. 9 out of 10. So why? What is going on here? A lot of people get completely obsessed with finding that one perfect indicator, that holy grail strategy that's going to make them rich. But what we're going to see today is that the real reason for failure, it isn't on the charts at all. It's between your ears.
What our source material tells us is that there's this kind of pyramid of success in trading, and it's probably the opposite of what you'd expect. Right at the very top, the most important thing is psychology. Then right below that is money management. And way down at the bottom, that's your strategy, your setup. Think about it. You can find a decent strategy online in minutes, but a winning mindset, that's something you have to build from the ground up.
Look, before you can even dream of becoming profitable, you have to get real with yourself. You've got to take a hard look in the mirror and figure out what's holding you back. It's all about spotting and then tearing down the mental roadblocks that trip up almost everyone. All right, so let's jump into the very first major mistake, and it's a big one. Just diving headfirst into the markets without any kind of real plan. You're basically flying blind. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? I mean, seriously, can you imagine starting a real business, a coffee shop, anything, with no business plan? No idea of your costs, your goals, your strategy? It sounds completely insane. And yet, that's exactly what thousands of people do every single day in trading. And let's be clear, a trading plan isn't just about, buy here, sell there. It is the entire instruction manual for your trading business. It's the set of rules you create when you're calm and rational, so you have something to lean on when the market gets crazy and your emotions start screaming. And I mean, look at this. This isn't just some vague set of ideas. A real trading plan forces you to answer the hard questions before your money is even at risk. What's the absolute most you're willing to lose today? Where is your stop loss going on this trade? No exceptions. And, maybe most importantly, what's the signal that tells you to just shut it down and walk away for the day? Okay, so you've got the perfect plan. You're all set, right? Well, not so fast. Because even with the best plan in the world, you're about to face what our source material calls the single biggest hurdle for any trader, that emotional roller coaster of fear and greed. This slide just lays it all out plain as day. On the left, that's your plan. It's logical, it's disciplined, it's smart. But on the right, that's what happens when your emotions hijack the system. The price hits your stop loss and your plan says, get out, take the small loss. But your emotions whisper, nah, just wait, it'll bounce back. And just like that, hope takes the wheel and a small, controlled loss starts to snowball into a catastrophic one. I love this term from our source material, the forced investor. It's so true. You get into a trade thinking it's a quick, short-term thing, but when it goes against you, you just can't bring yourself to take the loss, so you hold on. And suddenly, that day trade has turned into a long-term investment, not because you planned it, but because you refused to admit you were wrong. This right here, this is absolutely crucial. The outcome of your last trade, whether it was a huge win or a painful loss, should have zero, and I mean zero, impact on your next decision. A big win makes you feel invincible, so you get reckless. A big loss makes you scared, or maybe you start revenge trading to win it back. Either way, it's a recipe for disaster. Our source offers this incredible way to reframe your thinking. Trade like a doctor, like a surgeon. A surgeon can't walk into the operating room still celebrating their last success or agonizing over their last failure. They have to be completely present, detached, and focused on the patient in front of them. That's the level of professionalism you need to bring to every single trade. A big reason we get so emotional in the first place is because of this next trap, the third major psychological hurdle. We walk in with completely unrealistic expectations. I mean, just look at this chart. It puts everything in perspective. Most of us would be pretty happy, maybe even thrilled, to get a 6 or 12% return in an entire year from a traditional investment. But then we open a trading account and suddenly expect to make 30% in a single month. It's a total disconnect from reality. And here's the really dangerous part.
When you're chasing that crazy 30% monthly goal, you start to feel this immense pressure. You start seeing trade setups that aren't really there, you take risks you know you shouldn't, you're not trading anymore, you're just gambling, hoping for a miracle.
And this really gets to the core of it. The market is perfectly capable of giving you incredible returns, but you cannot force it to. Your job as a trader isn't to bend the market to your will. It's to show up, follow your plan, and gracefully accept whatever the market is willing to give you on any given day.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the why. Why so many people lose. Now, let's talk about the how. How do you flip the script? How do you go from being in that 90% to joining the 10% who actually make it? Well, it all boils down to one word: discipline. At the end of the day, our source makes one thing painfully crystal clear. Your success has very little to do with outsmarting the market. It has everything to do with mastering yourself. The market isn't your enemy. The biggest obstacle standing between you and success is you.
So, what's the game plan? Our source breaks it down into 3 simple but not easy steps. First, build your trading plan. Nail down every single rule before you ever risk $1. Second, master your emotions. Your job isn't to predict anything. It's to execute your plan flawlessly, like a robot. And third, set realistic goals. Stop chasing that one life-changing trade and learn to love the process of making small, consistent gains.
Okay, we've gone through the whole framework here, but just listening to this isn't going to change a thing. Real change only happens with action. So I'll leave you with this question. Based on everything we just talked about, what is the one single rule you are going to commit to following, no matter what, on your very next trade? Think about it, write it down, and make that promise to yourself. That's your first real step on the path to becoming a disciplined trader.